Once again, welcome all to our February's Career and Insight webinar here at Christech. We are so happy to have each and every one of you on here. So today, like we have said in the memo, we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. And I apologize that I may not switch to video because I'm not really in a stable environment. But regardless, we're still going to achieve something wonderful today. We're going to be speaking on the hybrid professional, and our guest speaker is not new to us. He's the brains behind everything that goes on here at Christech, and that is Mr. Onyeneke Christopher, our resident data scientist and AI engineer. And he's going to just be giving us insights on how we can up our game as job applicants, as people seeking employment in 2026, as tech enthusiasts who want to break into the market, earn some good coins and make an impact. So without further ado, I'm just going to call on our guest speaker, Mr. Christopher, to take the floor and share those power-packed, value-packed insights with us. So please, let's just give him a warm welcome. Make him feel welcome. You can use your emojis, and let's celebrate him as he takes on the stage. So please, Mr. Christopher, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's nice to have you all join the webinar this evening. You're all welcome. Okay, so without taking more time, I'm going to go straight to what we have on ground today. Yeah. Hope you all had a wonderful week, though. Okay, I'm getting some reactions. That's good. Okay, so we'll be looking at an interesting and also a very critical topic this evening titled The Hybrid Professional. Dominate the 2026 job market by integrating your academic degree with modern data skills. Before I kickstart, I'm very sure that when most of us came across this topic, you must have had some questions in your mind. What do you mean by the hybrid professional? Okay, I'm going to clarify that. I'm going to explain that in this webinar. Hope you can all see my screen, by the way. Hope you can all see my screen. Okay, I've gotten...
Yes, I can from my end.
Okay, that's good. Okay, let's kickstart. We're going to look at the crisis of the generalist. Why data science alone is no longer enough in the 2026 landscape. It is something I tied to the wasted years trap.
I'm so sorry for interrupting. So
Okay.
it's not switching. Your screen is not switching. I guess you should restage it.
Okay, how about now?
Yes, I can. I would really love if somebody else could confirm the seamlessness, because it seems my network is a little slow. So I don't know if anybody else. Okay, Mr. Efe has confirmed. All right.
Okay.
We are good.
All right, so we're good to go. Okay. So we're going to look at what I titled wasted years trap. So I realized something. Christech Analytics realized something, that in most universities, students take courses that last for over 3 to 4 years and even 5 years. Some courses even take 5 years. And you would realize that after graduation, the student drops their certificate and do something totally different. Yeah, I'm sure most of us have experienced this amongst our peers. Yeah, because during my uni days, I have some course mates of mine that would be like, let me just finish this course, this field, and drop certificate and do business. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of that comments from my classmates. So we're going to look at that wasted years trap. Spending 5 years in a particular course, let's say agriculture or accounting, only to abandon it for a generic IT role. This creates a skill vacuum where your valuable domain expertise goes to waste while you compete with millions of others. So what is this trying to say? You don't just like we don't advise students or graduates to leave or abandon their degree to chase something else or chase an IT skill. There's something you should know. Data skills like data analysis, data science, machine learning, AI, data engineering, and so on. We need to understand that they don't work in isolation. You can't say you are a data analyst, just a data analyst. You want to be analyzing data. You don't work in isolation. Most of the time, you work with different kind of domains. Yes, you work with different kind of domains, e.g. the agricultural domain, the financial domain, and the rest. So I want us to get that very clear. And at the same time, I don't want you to fall into the trap of finishing your or graduating and getting your degree and doing something totally different. It's just like wasted years not using your degree for anything meaningful. Then let's look at the data upgrade. Now, look at this. Instead of throwing your degree away, we build on it. By adding data analysis and AI to your existing background, you become an elite specialist that generalist analysts cannot touch. So what is this data upgrade all about? Instead of abandoning your degree, what you studied in school, why not learn a data skill and integrate it with your domain knowledge? Let's think about that for a second. Why not integrate a data skill with your domain knowledge? If you look at it, if you look at the word data science or a data skill, there's something that there's something that should come to your mind. I think I told there's this one of my followers that commented on my LinkedIn post. There's something I made mention of about data science. Data science does not work in isolation. It's a combination of three major categories, which is your domain knowledge. Very important, your domain knowledge. Secondly, statistics, your understanding of statistics. And thirdly, the data analysis skill, or rather, computer science. So let's look at it. We have your domain knowledge, you have statistics, and you have computer science. Let us start with computer science. If you want to regard yourself as someone in the data space, you must know how to operate a computer, at least the foundational knowledge of how to use a PC, a computer, you must have it, right? You can't say you are into tech and you don't know how to operate a system. That's very funny. Yeah, so let's look at the second one. That is statistics. Data analysis, data science, anything that relates to data, it's about statistics. Yes, you have to understand some mathematical and some statistical phenomenon. Like the basic ones are the mean, median, and mode. I'm sure we are all familiar with that. Yeah, that was like a foundational, like a beginner topic when they teach you statistics. It's part of data analysis. So you must be familiar with statistics for you to say, okay, yes, I can regard myself as a data analyst or someone in the data space. Then lastly, and I will call it most importantly, we have the domain knowledge. You have the domain knowledge. You must be very good at your domain. If you studied agriculture, you must have in-depth knowledge of how that domain works, how the processes go on in agriculture. And not just agriculture, other disciplines. So that is the data upgrade we're looking at. Let's look at defining the hybrid pro. Who is an hybrid or who is a hybrid professional? A hybrid professional is a subject matter expert who leverages data tools to solve domain specific problems. Take note of that statement, domain specific problems. Now, if you want to say you are a hybrid professional, you don't just rely on your statistical skills or your data analyst skills or your computer science skills. You also have to really consider your domain expertise, your field of study. Do you have a very strong knowledge on what you studied? Because it's very important. Now, your domain knowledge is the what and why, and your data skills is the how. How does this work? How do you go about this? So your domain knowledge gives you the proper theoretical background you need. And yes, to know a lot of theories that relate to your course. And the data skills gives you the how. How do you integrate these data skills into that domain knowledge? How do you use Python, Power BI, SQL, AI to make things easier and automate things in your domain? So if you know how to do that, someone that has that expertise, that person is referred to as a hybrid professional. I believe you are following so far because we're getting to the interesting aspect of this webinar. Let's look at the market demand in 2026. We have by 2026, 85% high-paying data roles will require specific domain expertise in fields like healthcare, agriculture, or finance. Companies are tired of hiring analysts who don't understand their business. They want the hybrid leader. This part of the slide is very, very important because I have tons of experiences relating to this. You will see someone come up and say, I'm a data analyst, or I'm a data scientist, or I'm a machine learning engineer. Then let's say they get a role, and then such person does not have a strong domain knowledge. How do you want that person to utilize or apply these data skills to what the company is doing? Okay, I worked for a company, and I worked there as a machine learning engineer. Let us listen to
Sorry,
this.
excuse me. Sorry again for the interruption. The slide has not moved. I don't know if you could
Really,
check. Yes,
is that how
and
it is for everyone, or I don't know?
it just moved now. Yes, somebody also mentioned it in the chat, but it has moved to where you are now.
Okay, I don't know. I think it's part of network issues.
Okay.
So, okay, thanks for notifying that. I'll just continue. Okay, I was giving an example about a company I worked last, and I worked there as a machine learning engineer. And the most surprising part of my experience there was I used my domain expertise. I studied meteorology and climate change in school. I used my domain expertise in the company. The company was kind of working on a project on applying AI to agriculture. Yeah, applying AI in agriculture, and we had at some point we needed to know how to predict predict or make forecasts as relating to weather. And that is where I came in and I was like, okay, I have a very strong domain knowledge in meteorology and climate change, and I know how it works in the field. So let's go about it this way, let's go about it that way. Now, if you notice, the company wasn't just benefiting from my machine learning skills, rather, they benefited both from my machine learning skills and my domain knowledge. Everybody now knows how to use Python. Everybody now knows how to use SQL or Power BI or Excel. But the question is, apart from your knowledge in those data tools, do you have a strong domain knowledge that you can integrate with these skills? It's a very important question that most individuals or most enthusiasts in the data space are lacking. So it's very important that we look at this and think back again to understand what we are really doing. So the market demand is very high for okay, the market demand is very high for individuals that for hybrid professionals that apply both their domain knowledge and their data skills to play. So it's very important that you know this and you start building on this. Now let's look at the three pillars of evolution. We have the first one, which is the domain expert. In this pillar, you bring the core understanding of your academic course. You speak the industry language. So come to think of it, you might be asking, why is the domain expert actually the first pillar? I thought it's going to be like the data skill. This is to tell you why having a strong domain knowledge is very important. That course you studied in school, or if you are undergraduate, just start to understand now that you need to take that your discipline very seriously, because you will need it later when you have or when you learn a data skill. You will need that your domain expertise very well. So that is the first pillar of this evolution. You must understand the core of your academic course. You must be able to speak the language. And after you've been able to do that, what is the next pillar of this hybrid professional? We have the data enabled. In this pillar, you master the tools to automate, analyze, and predict outcomes in your field. I've had many individuals meet me, many people that are very interested in learning a data skill. And there's a question I usually ask them, a very important question. Okay, you say you want to be a data analyst, you say you want to be a machine learning engineer, you say you want to be an AI engineer. Okay, what is your course of study? How do how does AI apply in your field? How do you gather data in your field? Because you need to understand that data is everywhere. Every day, billions of data are being released out there through different social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. People are posting every single day. And you know that we have so many um would I say human beings now on earth. They keep populating and expanding. And the more the expansion, the more the data, because everybody now has an handset, have a handset, and they keep making posts. All these posts you see out there, they are data in some sort of way. In our last webinar, our speaker made mention of cookies. that most websites have. Yeah, that you would give them consent to access your data in their website. That's data on its own again. So data is everywhere, and you must know how the data pipeline operates in your field. Did you study mass communication? Did you study petroleum engineering? Did you study computer science? Did you study business admin or any kind of course? The question I would ask you is, how does your discipline store data? It's very important because having to or being able to answer this question is going to take you a step further in really understanding how a data skill or a data role operates and how you integrate it in different domains. So that is what this second pillar talks about, the data enabled pillar. And it takes us um, to the last pillar of being a hybrid professional, which is the strategic link. This strategic link talks about you bridging the gap between technical data engineering and business decision making. Now, listen, after you've been able to say that, okay, I have a very strong domain expertise in this discipline, and secondly, you're able to say, I have a data skill, I know how to use data tools. So if you're able to satisfy these two categories, then the next step now for you is, how do I bridge my data skill and my domain expertise? How does it apply? How does it apply to the real world? How does it work? So that's the strategic link. You link those two things together. They don't work in isolation. Yeah, I've mentioned that data skills don't work in isolation. So I believe we are following so far, because I would likely ask questions. Yeah, I'm this kind of person that I love interactive sessions. I ask, you reply, you ask, I reply, to really make sure that we are understanding what we are following up in this webinar, and you all understand our purpose and what we aim to achieve. I just changed my slide. Hope it's also reflecting in your side. Hope it has changed in your side too. Okay, I got a positive reaction. So we're going to go on mapping your mapping skills to your degree. Mapping data skills to your degree. Now let us look at some examples that I've noted down here. We have the agricultural discipline, agriculture. So in this case, the field here is agriculture. The data application is, let's say, predictive crop yield modeling. Predictive crop yield modeling. Now, what kind of role would this kind of person have? What kind of title would this person have? Person has a domain knowledge in agriculture, and person can apply predictive crop yield modeling to that field. In that case, you can be called a precision agriculture specialist. Are you getting the flow? Are you getting the connection right now? Let's look at the second example. You studied microbiology, and in the data aspect, you're able to automate pathogen detection. That's like applying a data skill in microbiology. What kind of title would be that? What would you give that? You can say we have bio-informaticist. I don't know if you are getting the correlation now between your domain knowledge and your data skills. Now let's look at accounting. You studied accounting in school. You have a very good knowledge on the accounting sphere. And in the data side of things, you can automate audit pipelines. You can, if you can do that, then the title for that would be financial data auditor. Why am I mentioning all of this? Why am I mentioning the link and how all of this maps together? Because you need to really understand the benefit and the position this puts you to if you're able to map and connect your domain knowledge with data skills. It advances your career, and it gives you greater, more opportunities in the job market. Let us look at the last one. I had to put this one here because it's my field, yes. So I want my field to be in this particular slide. So now you studied metrology, and how do you apply data skill here? Let's say AI-driven climate prediction. You're able to use um, AI to drive climate prediction. Now, what kind of title would that be? You can be called a climate data engineer. These are just some examples. I've seen titles like meteorological data scientist. I've seen titles like climate scientist. Yeah, so these roles exist, and maybe you are not really aware of it. So that's why I'm giving you this information right now, so that you would know the opportunities out there. You don't just limit yourself to um, some certain constraints. You really need to know the opportunities out there in the job market so that you can tap and benefit from all of this. Let's look at the rise of specialized roles. The rise of specialized roles. You have a data skill, let's say you're a data analyst, and you apply that your skill in mass communication. So let's say you are a AI driven mass communicator. That is just an example. Now, let's look at this chart below. You can see that from 2021, the the trend is increasing. Look at 2022. There is a continuous increase in hybrid professional roles, those that apply data skills, those that map data skills to their domain. There is a constant increase. From 2021 to 2022, there is a good increase. From 2022 to 2023 down to 2024 to 2025 and to 2026, the trend is an upward trend, to show you that this domain and data integrated roles, they are high in demand. They are high in demand. Let us look at the financial advantage. In this generation now, everybody is after the cash, after the money. I just want to do anything. So far money they come in. The money. Let's look at, sorry for the background noise. Let's look at the financial advantage if you are actually able to apply your data skills to your domain, to your domain or to your discipline. Now, let's look at this chart below. We have the general data analyst. The general data analyst. Okay, let me kind of, sorry, give me a sec. Okay, I think the background is better now. Okay, so where did I stop? Okay, we're reviewing the general data analyst charts here. So if you look at the general data analyst, the financial advantage they have is 45%. Let's say their income measured in percentage is, let's say, 45%. Now look down below the general data analyst. Look down, you will see generic IT support. So this particular field now, what is their income? 30%. Are you following me? Now look at the third one below, domain specialist. Look,
Sorry, Mr. Christopher. The slide is not moving.
it's not moving again.
No, we are still in map. You have moved it now.
Okay, I realized that if I escape the presentation slide and come back to the meeting, that is when it changes. So maybe when I change my slide, I will just come back to make sure you are all following me with the slide movement. Thanks for noticing that. Okay, Now, as I was saying, look at the domain specialist, the chart there by the right. You would see that the income they get, it's over how many percent? 85%. Compare it to that of the general data analyst and the generic IT support. Those are just focus more on the skill itself rather than how it applies to different disciplines. You can see the difference. Now look at the last one, hybrid financial analyst. Look at the percentage there, 95%. So you can see that the income increases, their financial pay increases when you are able to map your data skills to a specific discipline. Your financial pay increases, the income you get increases if you're able to do that. Because why is it like that? Is because they are high in demand. Those that combine these two, they are high in demand. Hybrids command higher premiums because they solve high value specialized problems that generalists cannot understand. This particular statement reminded me of a comment I received in my LinkedIn post. The person made mention of something. The person said, just pay attention. The person said that he's a guy. He said he's wondering why someone that studied data science or a data skill, why they don't get jobs. Then someone that didn't study a data skill, that don't have a certificate in a data skill, but they have strong domain knowledge. Why are they the ones that get the job? Why those that actually studied data analyst and get certificates or any other data skill like data scientist, machine learning, AI, and have the certificates, they hardly find jobs. Now listen, the reason is right now AI does analysis for you, does coding for you, does all of this for you. The question is, do you have the domain knowledge to thrive in this job market? To shock you, the place I'm working currently, the company I'm working currently in, I'm applying my skills in my domain in the company. And that is why they need me, because they believe I have a very solid foundation in my discipline. And I know how to apply data skills and AI to what I studied. So that gives me a more advantage in the job market. Unlike I just know how to use machine learning tools, but I don't have a strong domain knowledge. Anybody can be a machine learning engineer, but can you apply or can you relate it? Can you map it with a particular domain? So that answers the question. They are high in demand. CEOs, founders, they are looking for individuals that have strong domain expertise and how it relates to data skill. Let me put it this way. Let me put it this way. They are looking for um domain experts that apply data skills, not data skills experts that apply domain knowledge. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. It's the other way around. They're looking for domain experts, people that are very good in that discipline and they know how to apply AI and data skills to their discipline. I believe you understand that particular statement, the difference between the two, right? Okay, let's look at the next slide. Let's look at your success roadmap. How do we plan to make you achieve this? How do we want to um, make you be a hybrid professional? Now, let's look at the success roadmap. Week one, we have our career and insights webinar. In this week, we look at the strategy, and it's being led by our strategic coaches. to map your path. So the first week of every month, we look at career insight. We look at what you studied in school, and we explore your domain, and we understand how data flows in your domain. Did you study agriculture? Did you study mass comm? In this career and insights week, we understand how data flows in your domain. I believe we've been able to come to an agreement that every domain, every discipline, every field, there's always a way data flows in that field. I believe we've come to an agreement on that. So the next thing is how how does the data flow in your domain? And we have this kind of discussions in our first week of every month, the career and insights week. Then week 3, we look at deep dive and theory. In this webinar, we explore the tools, the data tools that we have out there. And it's being led by our technical and training team to build you, to make sure you have strong knowledge of how these data tools operate. Speaking about tools, let me shock you. Do you know that in this generation or this era that we are right now, being able to work with data tools is very important. It's very important. I can't emphasize that enough, because there are several data tools out there. Tools for ETL, tools for chart generation, tools for analysis, tools for agentic AI. These tools are out there, and you must know how to make good use of these tools, because I've come to realize in my experience, in my work experience, that the more you know how to work with tools, the more it opens more opportunities for you. What makes someone more experienced than another person is how much you can use tools out there to your disposal. Now let's look at the third aspect, outcome-based learning. Every lesson leads to a real-world project in your field. Now, in this case, you are not just building projects that generalizes everything. No, I've reviewed many tutorials and many courses out there, and there's one thing in common. They teach data science and other data skills generally. They teach it generally. But in this case, in Christech Analytics, we teach you data skills based on what you studied in school, irrespective of if you are an undergraduate or you are a graduate. We tell you how these data skills relate to your field. How does data flow in your field? How are they stored? How do you make use of them? What can you use those massive amounts of data in your field to do? Are they just there wasting? How can you use those data to drive insights, to make data-driven decisions in your field? So that is one amazing thing about this community. We make that known. We customized data skills training based on what you studied. And lastly, we have the global networking. Okay, where am I? Okay, here is it. So we're looking at global networking. Our community gives you access to to different individuals in different data spaces, be it data analysts, data scientists, machine learning engineering, AI engineering, data engineering, name the data skill. We have these different blends in our community. So it gives you the room and the opportunity to ask your questions, communicate. That's why we have a particular group in our community called the Data Science Hub. That group, it's the purpose of that group is for you to ask questions relating to this hybrid professional, this data skills and your domain. That is why the group is there. Ask questions, make contributions, do your research, and encourage and let these informations be known to people. Connect with different people in the data space in our community. So that's what you get. So if you are able to follow us on how we operate, I'll be rounding up soon. I'm also keeping track of time. If you're able to follow these steps, this roadmap, I can tell you assuredly that you're going to get what you're looking for. You're going to see the relationship between your field and the data skill you have interest in learning. So what am I trying to say so far? What is a perfect summary of what I've been saying so far? What I'm saying is don't abandon your degree. Rather, evolve it. The market in 2026 won't pay for what you know. It will pay for what you can build with what you know. Let's start building. Start building projects related to your field. Start specifying your project. Don't build a project that is general purpose. Start specifying them. And with that being said, I think I'm going to stop there because of time. So right now is time for question and answer, and event coordinator will pick it up from here.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for all of that wonderful presentation. So we have very, very short, limited time left. If you have any question, you can ask in the chat or just, unmute your mic. Anyone that has any question, first come, first serve. Just one person, one person, one person. The floor is open.
Thank you very much. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for that detail you provided regarding integration of AI machine learning skills with domain is actually very powerful. So I was able to learn a lot from this section, and I have questions related to, you said something regarding um, how that the first step that we need to take in becoming this hybrid specialist is to know how to answer some questions, and those questions you said it in a way that is like, I don't know, general. It's not actually specific to my understanding. And this question you said regarding how do we store data and how do we process it, how is data managed in our field. So I would really love you to maybe provide a specific example. Maybe you can use a particular field, okay, maybe your field in meteorology, okay, how this is how they store data in meteorology, so I can have a grasp of what you actually are talking about. Thank you.
Okay. I think I understand your question. You're asking that I during the presentation I didn't really give a specific example of how data is stored or how data flows in a specific field. So I'm going to use my domain as a very good example, and I'm going to try to be very brief about it. Now, in meteorology and climate change, it's simply the study of weather, the study of the atmosphere and the dynamic processes that go on in the atmosphere. And the data we store, the data we collect in this field are weather data. Weather data, I mean temperature, relative humidity, wind, wind speed, wind direction, data, weather related data. That's what we collect, and we store these data as well. Yeah, you can store them in an Excel sheet, or you can store them in any other format, in as a CSV file, in a database. You can store this data. And apart from storing this data, the next question is, what can you use this data to do? Right? So I'm just going to pause on how the data is stored. Why do we collect this data? We collect this data to make predictions, right? Metrology is all about predictions. And because of time, I'm just looking at this time. So this question you're asking, also drop it in the community group, the data science hub group, and I'll do well to throw more light on it. But I believe I've been able to give you a clear view, a clear example of how data is stored in the
Thank you very
metrology.
much. I understand,
Okay, thank you for that.
but I will still have to ask you privately. I'm still like I needed more explanation, but because of the time limit, so let me just let you go for now.
All right, sure. After the call, you can message me on that.
All right, that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you all for coming, and I hope that you put everything that has been said to practice. All right, see you guys next time. Good night.
All right.